$5 versus $5,000 whiskey. Can you taste the difference? Two glasses stand side by side, one priced at a few bucks, the other marked at 5,000. If you were blindfolded, pour one after the other. Would your taste buds truly know the difference? Welcome to our journey from dollar store sippers to collector-level gems. As we climb this ladder of 10, you'll witness how age, wood, brand, and scarcity conspire to separate mere whiskey from the elevated. By the end, you decide, can you really taste the dollars? 10. $5 tier, 10 High Kentucky Blended Whiskey, 200 milliliters. At the $5 mark, this is where whiskey becomes purely practical. 10 High isn't here to impress. It exists to be available, cheap, and predictable. The first whiff gives you light corn sweetness, a bit of cereal grain, and faint alcohol prickle, like it's telling you up front that this is young and it hasn't spent much time resting. On the palate, you get a thin body with simple caramel notes and a short, almost shy finish. There's no complexity fighting for your attention, no chorus of flavors unfolding across your tongue. It shows up, says its name, and exits politely. Behind that glass, the economics are straightforward. Young whiskey is inexpensive to make, less time in storage, more bottles produced quickly. Cheaper grains and blending with neutral spirit keep costs down and output up. Aging in used barrels or for minimal time means the manufacturers avoid paying for premium wood or long-term warehousing fees. And that's exactly the point. You're not paying for luxury, age, or craftsmanship at this level. You're paying for accessibility and quantity, perfect for spiking a soda at a tailgate or stocking a well bar on a budget. There's no shame in that. This tier is the ground floor of whiskey, the baseline that helps you appreciate every step upward. 9. $15. Tier, Evan Williams. Black Label, 750 milliliters. Climbing just $10 higher takes you into a noticeably better world. Evan Williams, a Black Label, may be inexpensive, but it doesn't taste careless. There's warmth on the nose, vanilla bean, toasted sugar, and a touch of oak. The texture on the palate thickens, introducing honeyed sweetness, spice, and a steadier balance of heat and smoothness. It's no longer just whiskey for mixing. This one can stand on its own, especially over a cube of ice. The real difference here comes from time and refinement. This bourbon isn't rushed out of the barrel. A little more aging allows rough edges from the grain to soften. The distillers have dialed in their mash bill over decades, and the brand stakes its name on consistency. Every bottle should drink like an old, reliable friend. This is where you realize budget whiskey doesn't have to taste cheap. You begin to feel character developing. Oak speaks more clearly, sweetness doesn't disappear immediately, and the finish lingers long enough to remind you of what you drank. Still, this bottle isn't trying to compete with the showstoppers. It won't deliver deep layers of fruit or long, evolving complexity, but it absolutely offers value far beyond the sticker price and gives beginners confidence that whiskey can be enjoyable without being expensive. 8. $20 tier, Jameson Irish Whiskey, 750 milliliters. At roughly $20, Jameson introduces a shift in style and philosophy. Irish whiskey is smoother by design thanks to triple distillation, a process that strips out harshness and polishes the spirit into something clean and friendly. On the nose, you're met with bright green apple, soft malt, and a drizzle of honey. The first sip is light and silky, delivering hints of citrus, gentle vanilla, and barely there oak spice. It finishes soft, like a pleasant conversation that ends before overstaying its welcome. This is whiskey built to bring people in, not intimidate them. There's a universal appeal to it. Easy to drink neat, delightful in cocktails, approachable to newcomers, and still worth revisiting for seasoned drinkers who appreciate its subtle elegance. The makers invest in good grains, quality casks, and a keen sense of tradition, all while maintaining massive production to keep pricing within reach. What you're paying for here is craft without exclusivity. You can taste intention, the balance, the mellow fruitiness, the refreshing crispness, yet you can also sense the ceiling. There's only so much complexity achievable without long aging or intense wood influence. Still, for many, this is the first bottle that feels like a true whiskey experience. Not just alcohol, but a story of heritage and skill poured into every glass. 7. $80 to $100. Lagavulin 16-year single malt. Once you cross into the $80 to $100 territory, the whiskey world gets dramatic. Lagavulin 16 doesn't just sit in your glass, it performs. Picture a smoky seaside bonfire, waves crashing behind you, and someone hands you a dram that captures the soul of the island itself. The nose hits you with peat smoke, iodine, and dried dates, like a mysterious maritime treasure chest just cracked open. Take a sip and things get richer. Dark chocolate, charred oak, salty sweet interplay from years breathing coastal air. There's a confidence to it, a whiskey that doesn't ask to be liked, but still wins you over. The 16 years of aging are not just a number, they are time spent shaping every molecule, smoothing the roughness into bold character instead of heat. Why the higher price tag? Time, place, and craft. Barrels sitting in Islay warehouses for over a decade means storage costs, evaporation loss, and patience. Lots of patience. The peat smoking process, traditional distillation, and the heritage of Lagavulin all push it firmly into the premium experience category. It's not shy, not gentle, it roars a little, but that's what makes spending $90 feel justified. You taste the island, the history, and the decision to age longer instead of selling fast. This is where whiskey stops being a beverage and becomes a short vacation. 6. $100. Aberlour, Abinad, Cask Strength Sherry Bomb. This is where whiskey grabs a megaphone and shouts flavor. Aberlour Abinad, sitting right at around $100 per bottle, doesn't bother with lower proof politeness. It is cask strength straight from Oloroso sherry barrels, unfiltered, unapologetic, and full of attitude. The nose bursts with raisins, dark cherries, brown sugar, and cinnamon. Think winter holidays in Scotland packed into a glass. Then you sip, and it's like diving into a dessert avalanche. Rich chocolate, sticky toffee, spicy oak, and a finish that keeps expanding as if it paid rent for extra time on your tongue. At around 60% ABV, it tells you up front, add water if you dare. And that water opens layers, figs, citrus oils, toasted nuts. It becomes a journey. So what makes this $100 feel like a steal? Several things. High proof intensity means fewer bottles per barrel. A single traditional sherry cask type, which isn't cheap. Batch by batch craftsmanship, each with slightly unique character. You're paying not just for age, but for concentration. Every flavor the barrel had to offer is jam-packed inside. No dilution, no shortcuts. If Lagavulin took you to the ocean, Abinad takes you to a Spanish bodega and hands you a barrel thief. This bottle says luxury, but in a rowdy, bold, flavor maximalist voice. If you're enjoying this journey from bargain bottles to billionaire pours, hit like and subscribe so YouTube knows you want more delicious ranking episodes. You keep sipping, we'll keep pouring. 5. $250. Yamazaki 12-year. Now at about $250, we enter the zone where whiskey becomes art. Yamazaki 12 is the elegant, soft-spoken genius of the lineup. The one who doesn't raise its voice yet commands the room. Crafted in Japan's oldest malt distillery, this bottle is a smooth dance between tradition and precision. The aroma immediately says high class, orchard fruit, plums, a hint of coconut, gentle oak, and then something distinctly Japanese, Mizunara wood whispering delicate sandalwood-like notes. The palate continues the poetry. Silky texture, honeyed malt, citrus brightness, and subtle spice that glides rather than punches. The 12 years are just enough to refine the spirit while still keeping it lively and aromatic. So, why the big jump in price? Japan's whiskey supply famously struggles to keep up with demand. Limited stock, carefully allocated worldwide. Labor-intensive craftsmanship and detailed blending practices. Awards and reputation raise the bar and the price. There's a quiet confidence here, unlike the high-proof flexing of Abinad. Yamazaki 12 invites you to slow down and notice things. It's a whiskey for people who enjoy balance and are willing to pay for subtlety. At $250, You're partly paying for rarity, but you're also paying for a masterclass in finesse. 4. $500. The Macallan 18-year double cask move into the $500 territory, and luxury stops being hinted at. It's declared boldly on the label. Macallan 18 is the velvet couch of whiskey, plush, polished, and entirely aware of its own elegance. The world recognizes this name not just because of branding, but because decades of work have gone into building a consistent standard of excellence. 18 years in carefully curated European and American oak barrels creates a deep, refined flavor progression. It doesn't rush. First sweetness, then warming spice. Finally, a graceful fade that seems to last longer the more you think about it. This is a whiskey that knows how to make an exit. At this tier, price becomes as much about prestige and scarcity as taste. Macallan has mastered the art of premium perception. People don't just buy it to drink, they buy it to own, to display, to celebrate. This bottle doesn't say, "I like whiskey." It says, "I have standards and a dedicated whiskey shelf with mood lighting." Is it better than everything cheaper? Not always. Taste is subjective, but it offers a level of refined luxury that feels undeniably special. At this point in the ranking, we've left bourbon night with friends territory and stepped into special occasion worth dressing up for. 3. Approximately $600 to $700. Whistle Pig the Boss Hog, latest release. When you reach the 600 plus range, whiskey starts putting on a tuxedo and making a grand entrance. Whistle Pig's The Boss Hog is a perfect example. It rolls in like the charismatic showman of the bottle world. Daring flavors, experimental barrel finishes from far-flung corners of the globe, and a personality big enough to justify its price tag hovering around $600 to $700. The first sniff alone feels like a whiskey parade. Waves of spicy rye bite mixed with warm maple, a hint of dark fruit, and sometimes even herbal whispers depending on the addition. A sip follows through with powerful cast-strength depth, silky edges, and a finish that struts like it knows it belongs at the top of the food chain. What gives this bottle such swagger is the idea that every release is a one-time event. It's bottled from single barrels, handcrafted in tiny batches, and every new addition pushes creativity further. You're not just paying for the flavor, you're paying for the story, the collector appeal, the novelty of sipping something that may never be made again. That thrill of rarity is baked into the price. Still, for all its spectacle, the whiskey inside is serious business. Flavor layers that unfold for minutes, warmth that doesn't burn but hugs, and a complexity that keeps you exploring. If Lagavulin was that moody poet and Abunad was the rock star, Boss Hog is the international adventurer who sends you postcards from every exotic cask it's ever met. 2. Approximately $1,850 to $2,300. The Dalmore 25-year crossing into the nearly $2,000 territory is like stepping into a secret society where refinement is the only rule. Dalmore 25-year treats whiskey like art, and it's priced like it too, usually around $1,800 to $2,300, depending on where you're lucky enough to find it. From the moment the cork releases its perfume, you know time has done some serious sculpting here. Aromas of orange zest, roasted nuts, and velvety chocolate drift upward like a dessert trolley guided by a maître d' in white gloves. A sip is even more theatrical. The texture is thick, like silk draped across polished oak furniture, delivering flavors that glide from sweet citrus to rich toffee and then into deep sherry warmth that feels almost regal. 25 years in carefully chosen barrels means every drop is packed with memories. Decades of seasonal temperatures breathing through wood, angel share evaporation stealing its portion, and patient craftsmanship ensuring what remains is concentrated excellence. The price isn't just about age, though that certainly demands respect. It's about meticulous blending of multiple cask styles, the pedigree of a Highland distillery that has mastered elegance, and the knowledge that not many bottles of whiskey survive a quarter century to share the final chapter. This is whiskey that doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It simply places a glass in front of you and says, "Pay attention. This moment costs $2,000. 1. $5,000. The Macallan 30-year Sherry Oak. And now we arrive at the penthouse suite of this ladder. The kind of whiskey that makes wallets tremble and collectors smile nervously while swiping their cards. The Macallan 30-year Sherry Oak often sits near the $5,000 mark, and that price alone tells you this isn't going into a red Solo cup anytime soon. This is a whiskey that has patiently waited for 3 full decades, absorbing every whisper of its sherry-soaked oak cradle like a scholar studying flavor as a lifelong pursuit. Bring the glass to your nose and time almost slows. There's a luxurious swirl of dried figs, aged leather, warm spice, and dark chocolate melting into a hint of orange marmalade. That first sip is where all the money suddenly makes sense. An evolving tapestry of sweetness, polished oak, and velvety texture that refuses to let go. The finish might actually be eternal. It lingers like a memory you don't want to fade, reminding you that great whiskey is not just tasted, it is experienced. Why 5,000? Because 30 years of barrel life is expensive. Because the angels drank half of it while it slept. Because Macallan's reputation as a global luxury icon drives demand to heights reserved for jewelry and fine art. This is not just a bottle, it's a celebration of patience, skill, scarcity, and status. And if you ever pour it, people will treat the moment like a toast to legend itself. So what exactly launches whiskey from $5 to 5,000? The biggest driver is time. Whiskey aging in barrels for decades doesn't just improve flavor, it becomes rarer every year. The angel share slowly evaporates into the air, leaving fewer bottles to sell. And with each year, the price climbs like it's chasing the clouds. Then there's wood. Sherry casks, Japanese Mizunara oak, and hand-selected barrels from Spain or Kentucky cost a fortune before a single drop goes in. Brand prestige also plays a massive role. When a name like Macallan or Dalmore shows up, collectors don't ask why it costs so much. They ask if they can even get one. Scarcity becomes a currency. On top of that, small batch craftsmanship means more attention to detail, and high proof often results in fewer bottles per barrel. In short, the jump in cost isn't just about how good something tastes. It's about the years sacrificed, the barrels invested in, the reputation built, and the fact that when something is limited, humans automatically want it more. You're paying for history, patience, and bragging rights, sometimes in equal measure. Here's the real test. If we poured 10 high in a crystal glass and Macallan 30 into a red plastic cup, would your taste buds confidently crown the expensive one? Maybe, maybe not. Some people find their perfect drink in the $20 range. Others chase flavor complexity so deep, it feels like a novel written by oak and time. That's the beauty of whiskey. Your favorite doesn't have to be the priciest. What matters is what makes you smile after that first sip. Now that you've climbed the entire ladder, tell us, if we line these up blind, could you spot the $5,000 pour? Comment your guess and your favorite bottle from this list. And remember, price may turn heads, but taste wins hearts. Cheers to smart sipping.